What's up, everyone? It's your boy Norn Radd 89 here, bringing you another review today. And of course, we're here to talk about the Batman film. This is going to be a non-spoiler review, so don't worry about any spoilers in this video. And of course, we're going to get down into this video. And it was a packed house. Like, oh man, there was people everywhere. Like, it was a full house for sure. So let's get into this video. I can't wait to talk about this. So, The Batman, directed by Matt Reeves, starring Robert Pattinson, Zoe Kravitz, Andy Serkis, Paul Dano. Like, oh man, this is Jeffrey Wright is also in this film too. That's like, let's just get into the positives right away. Let's just do this. I literally watched this film like a couple hours ago, so let's get into the positives right away. And that's one thing I can tell you: the cast. I think the cast is really good, phenomenal. I think all the actors do such a good job. Actors, actresses, all across the board. Paul Dano is probably my favorite, easily, is the Riddler. I think Paul Dano's slam dunk the best part of this movie. I really loved his aspect of the film. Jeffrey Wright is also a really good aspect of this movie too. And this is a very Batman and Jim Gordon centric storyline. So that I thought was really cool too. I didn't expect Gordon to be that in it as much as he was, but he is very much a Batman and Gordon centered storyline, and that's really cool because it's reminiscent of Batman Year One, and I really love that aspect. And this is year two of Batman and like doing stuff in Gotham and like kind of experimenting with the Batman project, and it's just a very realistic, grounded world, but it also is true to the comics and the nature of the comics, and it's really good in that aspect where I love that it was true to the nature of the source material, but it did feel grounded in a realistic world that could be lived in for sure. And like all the characters being such great actors and actresses and like assisting in that really do help in making the world just feel lived in, and I really like that. Also, Michael Giacchino, I think that's how you say his last name. I'm sorry if I butchered that, but he is a fabulous person to have score this movie. I think the score really does do a good job and assist in like taking you through this film because it's 3 hours long. This is a 3 hour long movie, a little over 3 hours, and the score, the music really do set the tone and the mood, and it takes you through the film, and I love that. Like, the music does such a good job. Like, I really love that aspect of kind of the new era. Directors are finally realizing that music and scores to films really do help you get through the movie and set the tone and the mood for the film. And Matt Reeves was the perfect director as well to helm at the director spot because he knew what he was doing. He brought us a real down and dirty detective story with the Batman, with some cool villains and side characters, and that's what I loved. It's probably the smartest version also of Batman that we've ever seen on screen. I think Robert Pattinson does a really good job of portraying his smarts both as Bruce Wayne and as the Batman. I think the colors are pretty spot on too, and the way the camera, just the way it looks, like the griminess and the grittiness of Gotham, like it really does have that dirty, grimy look, but it feels cool. Like, even though it looks dirty and grimy, it feels like somewhere you want to be, you know what I mean? Just because like all the characters, everybody's so charismatic, everybody's so interesting. Even like I said, the sets, even though it's dirty and grimy, every alley or corner or store has a certain look to it, and it feels cool, and that's why I love that aspect of the film, because that's what makes it feel almost comic-esque when you're watching the comics and like, or watching an animated film. It has that, or the animated TV show, it has that nature to it. And I think that's what's cool in this film as well, that all the sets, like, I think have like a really good lived in feel to it, and you want to be there even though it kind of has that gritty nature to it. And for me with this film, you definitely do get sort of vibes of almost like Zodiac or Seven type vibes, but I got a lot of LA Confidential vibes. There's a lot of, kind of, crooked cops and like getting down and dirty with the detective story and stuff like that. So it's got a lot of elements and twists and turns. And like I said, it's a 3 hour movie, but I really didn't feel the length. I thought it was really fantastic. Like, it played out well. It really has a good pace to it, I think. And, some people, like, I think it's kind of crazy because some people, the length, it might bother them. It isn't a fast-paced movie. It's a very in-depth character story. And Batman, it's a very centric story. So if you love Batman, if you really do love Batman, you're going to adore and love this film because it's a very Batman-centric story. But in terms of being like the length, I can see some people being bothered with it, but it didn't bother me at all. I loved it, but I can see it bothering some people because it isn't like action every scene or like car chase here or there, like every 20 minutes. It's not like that at all. It's a very deliberately paced, slow film, but it takes its time, but it's a brilliant, kind of recipe. It's like cooking a really slow meal, you know what I mean? When you're making it all day, adding the spices and letting it simmer and then letting it boil and then adding something else. It's just, those are the elements that happen in this movie. Just adding in those things and letting it cook over time. And it's really good. Like, I think it has a fabulous payoff. Like, that one of my favorite scenes is between Robert Pattinson and Paul Dano. Like, there's a scene in it when we get into spoilers, and we're able to talk about that later in another video, probably later this week. I'll tell you about it. But definitely, like I said, I recommend highly going out to check out this film, because for me, in my book, this is definitely going to be in the upper echelon, top tier of, like, top 3 easy Batman films. This one, I'm going to give this one a 9.5 out of 10 in my book on the Radd scale. Yes, this film is so, like, just badass. It really is. It's a must watch for sure in theaters for just anybody who's adores movies. If you love movies, if you're a Batman fan, or you love comic movies, this is a must watch in theaters for sure. So I highly suggest you all go check this film out. I had a blast with it. And let me know in the comment section, if you've seen this film, what you thought of the movie. Thanks for sticking around. Have a safe and happy day. Peace out.